Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, the noise. A rather important detail to leave out. Oh, that is what you meant. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. The noise. As I pull into the parking lot on this crisp autumn morning, I see a class out on the playground having just the best time ever. I thought it was kind of weird because this isn't anywhere close to any recess times, and they sure haven't earned any extra recesses yet this year. Not that it really matters to me, but I just thought it was a bit weird as I was pulling into my parking spot. I walk in the door and the first thing that greets me is Titanium Trevor. Titanium Trevor is the school resource officer that is literally half titanium alloy or aluminum at this point. Due to an absurd number of surgeries he's had, a brisk walk would outpace his run. Even more unfortunate is that he is wildly inappropriate and cannot take a hint. I'd honestly rather suckstart a shotgun than listen to another word he says. So of course he's in the lobby to greet me and says, "Man, you're starting off with a good morning, aren't ya?" "Every morning is a good morning, Trevor," I reply as I brush him off to quickly punch in at the time clock. "They say it's one of your wires coming out of that ceiling that's making the noise." "Who is they and what wire and what noise?" "Oh, didn't they call you?" "No." "Well, apparently there's one of your wires in Harris's room that's making some loud noise or something. What wire of mine could possibly be making noise?" "I don't know, man, that's just what they said." "Who is they?" "Harris, I guess." "Brother, I don't know, I'm just telling you what they told me." "Fine. Let me set my stuff down first." We walk down there and sure enough there's a pretty loud noise. It sounds like one of the bells on the intercom system got stuck in the on position. Except it's not coming from the intercom. It's coming from the opposite side of the room. The same side of the room as the wire. My first and really only mistake was listening to them instead of just doing my own investigation. I begin looking where they said it was coming from, the rapid run audio video cable that you use connect a DVD player up to the projector. Yeah, it's a bit louder in that area, but there's no way in hell it's making this loud of a sound. I get my sciatic nerve on fire, half my leg and foot numb self on a table, because Titanium Trevor is just standing there completely uselessly. I begin to pop open a couple ceiling tiles and determine that the noise is for sure not coming from the wire nor the ceiling. I begin to think that it's a bit louder by some wall-powered microscopes. This isn't a science classroom they have set up on a table, so I start unplugging anything in the area and the noise just isn't going away. I tell Titanium Trevor to just stay here, basically keep doing what he's already doing so expertly, and that I'm going to start flipping breakers to see if we have some insane interference being caused by God knows what. I flip all the breakers for that room and it's still as loud as ever. I limp back down there and begin to just listen. As I'm just using my ears to navigate, much like Bird Box, I'm canceling out the incredible echoes of the noise in Titanium Trevor's incessant rambling. I'm honing in on the target. But as I dial myself and I begin to feel an overwhelming wave of regret. I know what's happening. I did this to myself. I'm becoming self-aware of the fact that I assumed that they knew what they were talking about. I listen. I listen hard. I divert all non-critical sensory input to my ears. Taste? Not important. Smell? Not important. Touch? Maybe. I'll leave a small reserve in that tank. After channeling and redirecting my sensory abilities, I'm being driven toward the ground. It's low. Is it one of those prank noise makers? Did a kid pull a genius stunt to get a free 30-minute recess? I begin to check under tables. The first table isn't right, the noise isn't loud enough. The second table nearby is loud. I mean loud. But it isn't coming from the underside of the table. It's even lower than that. It's coming from the ground where all the backpacks are. The blue backpack on the ground. It's coming from the blue backpack. I pick it up and the noise follows the backpack upward. It's inside. I don't know if I'm allowed to go through a child's belongings, so Titanium Trevor does the only useful thing he's done all morning and opens the backpack up. The noise is infinitely louder. He begins taking things out one by one until finally. The metronome. It's a band kid's metronome. It's a kid's metronome that they evacuated the classroom for. It's a kid's metronome that was the cause of the class being out on the playground as I pulled into the parking lot. It's a metronome that they blamed on my wire. It's a metronome that neither the 30 kids, nor the teacher, nor any other adult at the school bothered to put in any effort to find. They lost an entire class period's worth of learning over a metronome, in a child's backpack, that had nothing to do with the technology department. A rather important detail to leave out. So, as I've mentioned in other posts before, I work in AV, servicing commercial systems. So my job consists of being dispatched to different client locations every day to fix stuff when it isn't working. One day I get a dispatch for a site I had been to quite a few times over a long span. It's a university with a bunch of classrooms and offices with multiple AV systems spread throughout. The dispatch was to resolve some control issues. Nothing major. After some recent updates, their system just needed control code reloaded. So I get to site, go through any necessary security checks, and reach out to my client. He meets me in a lobby and starts us on the walk over to the room having issues. We get into an elevator and go down to a lower floor. Immediately after stepping off the elevator, a strong smell I can't really describe permeates through the entire hallway. It was one of those burn your nostrils, stick with you kinda smells that takes a while to go away. As we're walking down the hallway, the smell gets stronger, and he starts to lead me into a small room that leads into a large lab. It was at that point that I understood the smell. Without warning, I walk into this lab where the equipment rack that I needed to access was in, and spread throughout the lab are a bunch of metal slab tables surrounded by medical equipment. On each one of these tables sat literal cadavers. Not dummies or mannequins, straight up human corpses. The smell that hit me getting off that elevator was formaldehyde. As soon as I realized what I was seeing, the general shock on my face must have been obvious because my client immediately said, "Oh, they didn't tell you?" I told the person when I contacted you guys that they should give whoever they send a warning and confirm they aren't squeamish around bodies, because the system is in one of our medical labs. Here, let's step back into this room here, it looks like you need a minute. I step back into the room and collect myself. My client finds out that the folks in the room were just finishing up, and they would be putting everything away shortly. So we wait that out, and while I'm doing that, I get my laptop out and message the guy who dispatched me so I could get a copy of the control code and ask him, WTF dude? He responds telling me, "Oh no. They did tell me that and I meant to reach out beforehand but totally forgot, sorry about that." Gee, thanks. That's a pretty important detail to just forget to mention. All of the subjects had been put away and the lab had cleared out by then. I did some troubleshooting, got the code loaded, and tested everything. All was good. I don't think I've ever gotten the hell out of a place faster than I did that day in my entire career. Oh, that is what you meant. I do consumer tech support. Recently I had a very long call about a customer's elderly computer. Their display was showing 2 windows. Tried to remote in. No joy. Checked for documentation of what I understood to be the issue based on the customer's responses to my questions. No luck. After about 40 minutes I realized that the customer's operating system had gone through an automatic update and wiped the customer's customized display, including the desktop photo and programs they left open, and it was that which prompted the call. 15 minutes later, I was able to guide them back to the way the computer looked before the update. Our target time is less than 30 minutes per call. Hopefully I get some short snappers in the next couple of weeks.